Namaste, Zanoni Snowflake here. So we have the Modern Witch Tarot Journal by Sterle. We do actually have the Modern Witch cards there as well. So we haven't managed to get round to writing these yet. We were been on it with writing our daily ones, but that's gone out the window in the last little while, as we had managed ourselves through some triggers, and I think we're building ourselves up to the Mercury retrograde that goes. Mercury's gone into Aquarius already, or goes pretty soon. We've got another little story from last time here. So there was Justice, Two of Wands, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, Three of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, the Moon. We've got the other book to go with this with the meanings of the cards as well. So this one comes with a little guidebook with the cards, which is good. But there's also a bigger book to go with it as well, and that will be read out. All of it will be read out on this channel, so you'll be able to see what the selection is like if you want to purchase it yourself. Ten of Swords. But as we say, this is us, this is our learning technique, how we learn, how we get all of us to participate and function together, get the information in through different senses. So this will hopefully inspire us to start writing it weekly and not be so daunted by it. Ending in the Chariot. So it's a great bunch of cards there. I might just pull one as always for the group like we do. Put these in. And then I'll do a little bit of reading on the book. We haven't filled it in how it wants, but we did just before, in between Christmas and New Year. We were on bed days. We were quite pretty sore physically. And so we did a year forecast and a hindsight. So we pulled a card for each month for the coming year. And we also pulled a card for hindsight and reflection for the previous year, each month in the previous year. which I'm sure at one point at some time in the year it will all be looked at and, I don't know, evaluated or journaled on or analysed, something or other. Each one has a different idea. So the cards are, you always get different size. The cards are quite thick compared to some of them. Some cards can be quite thin. They all have their different feeling to them. We don't find these ones quite so easy, but it's good for our dexterity and the muscles in our fingers to have all the different thicknesses and different sizes and different shapes. Oh well, we tend to have them around the right way, and now we've managed to split them up, so we don't tend to do reverse anyway. I don't know if we've got enough. One more. Energies, please can you give a card that best represents the energies that we're portraying and pushing across and the benefits of journaling? Too many all at once there. For everyone that comes to the reading. Oh, is that one? Where did it go? Hidden. Knight of Wands. Wands is fire. Knight, we think's messages. I'm not overly cool and understandable them. The bottom, unconscious, unseen spectrum of energies that have been danced within are the magician. That's fab, because when one gets in more connection and more understanding what's going on in their internal world, and develop their intuition, they can then think and act on their feet in the moment, don't need to waste loads of time planning, and can still come out with the optimum energies. And it's the King of Wands on the top, so beautiful energy spectrums that we're dancing within there. See if this will work. So there's this little inlay piece of paper on the back. So this relates it specifically to tarot. For us, we use the tarot to understand us better, because it's not like we have any voices as such inside the head. We don't see anything. It's all like quite deafblind and dumb inside. It's quite dark. So for us to be able to understand what's going on inside, we reflect on our external environment and what kind of comes out. So we always check up on our comments, and we print stuff off sometimes in our interactions, because there's a lot of like automatic kind of touch typing thought language that kind of just pours out sometimes, more so touch typing than writing, because our wrists and our hands and our fingers get really tired, which is probably why we haven't done them as such yet. And another reason why we do them. And we've got a few different ones, hoping to do all of them each week, but we don't have to do all of them each week. But it means there's at least one there that will hopefully draw in one of the altars. Whereas if it's just one and we don't like that, we're not going to do that. Whereas if there's a variety, then there'll be one that's suitable to each altar, hopefully, to be able to get the flow happening, the constructive feedback loop of information. Take your tarot, and then when we've got a tarot workbook as well. And I suppose another one of our ideas, or the ideas coming about to really get to know ourselves, is that when we do our interpretation of the tarot in the tarot card workbook, we'll be relating it to specific moments in our lives, specific memories in our lives. So at the same time, we're kind of writing our own story and narrative, because that's a really healing thing to do as well. And we used to have a diary when we were younger, but it was just all this negative yucky, dark stuff. And when we read it back, it just put us into such a state. And that was when we were quite young, and we kind of, didn't kind of left it after that. And then with the processing language disorder, the dyslexia, it just all got too much. So we're developing all these skills, and it just develops writing skills and so much more. I don't know if I said it as well, but one of the most healing things one can do is to actually write their own story as well, because you're getting it all out. You're expressing yourself in another different modality. Take your tarot readings to the next level. Modern Witch Tarot Journal is far more than a guidebook, with sections on card meanings. Build your own personal reference guide and log your reflections on each card. Tarot readings. Record your readings and interpretations, with space for shorter and more complex readings. Tarot spreads. Collect your favourite spreads and learn how to create your own. Tarot decks. Keep track of your inventory, wish list, and deck interviews. Books and online resources. Keep track of your favourite tarot books, websites, and social media accounts. Tarot circle. Keep track of the people in your tarot circle, as well as professional readers, meetings, and events. Compatible with all tarot decks, designed for all levels of tarot readers, and packed with new and full colour illustrations. Modern Witch Tarot Journal is an essential companion for developing your craft. So it was a reflection. We always write, I was going to say we always write the time, but it's got a place for the time, but we haven't written it. So Saturday the 26th of December, reflection, hindsight on 2020, the past year. And for instance, we got pulled. January was the Magician, February was the Two of Swords reversed, March was the Seven of Wands reversed, etc. And then we do one for each of the month, and then we at the very start, before we do the month one, we pull a card for the whole year, and then we do one for each of the months. And then the same thing for year 2021, year ahead, one for all of it, and then one for each month. And we actually used 4 packs of cards for the year ahead. We did the Everyday Witch Tarot, not the large pack, that's a normal size. So there's a mini and there's a medium. So there's 2 sizes down from this one. And we did both of them, the Modern Witches, and we've also got the Witches Tarot. So they're all witch theme, but there was 3 different packs, and then 1 pack, 2 different sizes. Table of contents: introduction, card meanings, tarot readings, tarot spreads, tarot decks, books, online resources, tarot circle. Forward. Hello again. Modern Witches. I'm so thrilled to bring you this tarot journal to help you on your journey towards fulfillment. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to give back in another way to the tarot folks who have encouraged me to keep going. To me, tarot has always been a source of comfort and satisfaction. Whether reading for myself or a friend, it is a chance to think intuitively, to dig deep for inner wisdom, and to strengthen the magic within ourselves. Through tarot, we search for meaning and connections, and attempt to make sense of what can feel like the random chaos of the world. We take the blindfolds off and attune ourselves to the workings of the universe and how it connects to us as individuals. It is so easy to fall into the habits of living each day routinely and without the time to meditate and reflect. But it is this very practice that enables us to become better humans, both to ourselves and others. With this journal, I hope this process of reflection and contemplation becomes a consistent practice for you. Here, you will find advice and guidance to understanding tarot and how it can work best for you, as discovering and developing your own personal approach to tarot is so exciting. So read on, get your cards ready, and start your tarot journey. It's a very fitting card, actually, because we know the Knights basically is bringing like messages, so it's like passion, messages of passion, the fire, the spark, finding the communication with one's heart that ignites the spark, that ignites the fire. guiding through the different, for us, personalities and ages, and maybe prioritizing, finding out the ideas of all of them and the wants of all of them and the different ages, etc. But also then prioritizing of which ones will overlap to numerous ones of the personalities and which will bring us together, and which are wants and dreams that are further down the scale and which ones are ones now. So that was the foreword, the introduction. This is not a guidebook, at least not in the traditional sense. It is far more than that. A teacher once told me on a non-tarot subject, if I gave you the answer, then I would rob you of something precious. I think it was the act of self-discovery and the magical ways it reorders the mind she was referring to. A tarot epiphany, like the card Judgment, holds its spectacular power because it comes from within, but it feels like it has ultimately comes from something universal. Reflections at 4 a.m, revelations that come as you stand in the rain waiting for the bus, magical moments when tarot reading for a friend truly connects. These are the things that we want to keep and hold, too precious to allow time to erase. And this is why we journal. Studying the tarot card meanings is a practice that evolves. There's the work of learning 78 different cards, with each major exploding into untold possibilities. There's applying that to a tarot reading and understanding how one card influences another. And then there are flashes of insight that appear like a message from the goddess. Journaling can help with each one of these, jotting down the key points when you start, taking the best bits from each of your tarot guides to make your perfect personal guide, using the 2-card reflection section of this journal to start building connections between cards, and so in the brain. Yeah, that's right. That's why we're doing it, isn't it? And capturing those insights on paper before the mundane world can carry them away. Journaling helps formalize the thoughts. Just like choosing the right words for a querent gives precision to a tarot reading. You have 1,000 thoughts and myriad possibilities as to what the cards might mean. But by using that balance of intuition and the intellect, the perfect summary is spoken, hopefully. Journaling walks a similar path. If you only choose a few key words for a major arcana in the card meaning section of this journal, then those words have power, just as summarizing a reading in the tarot reading sections makes you boil down your interpretation to the pure essence. So yeah, it's also going to teach us summarizing. Not every tarot reading needs recording. Your daily draws and 3-card quick queries will manage just fine as memories. Well, we've got another journal for that. But sometimes you have a reading that's electric, just fizzes with truth. These are the ones you'll want to write here. These, plus all of those readings that look beyond the horizon, where you'll want a record to look back on a 1-year outlook spread, for instance. The Modern Witch Tarot Journal aims to help you to do all of these wonderful things and plenty more. Here is a quick guide to the sections of the journal. You will find more in-depth advice and guidance at the start of each area. Card meanings, a space to record key words, correspondences, and more extended reflections on each of the cards in the tarot. Here, you can build your own personal reference guide. Tarot readings, often as a central part of a tarot journal, schedules for drawing and making notes on your tarot readings. You'll find single pages for your smaller spreads and double pages for the more adventurous reading. Spreads. Here, you can collect all the essential tarot spreads that you use in your practice. There's also some guidance on creating your own spreads. Decks. The inventory of your ever-expanding tarot collection. You can also capture your wish list and pre-orders too. Deck interview readings can be chronicled here. And as we progress in ourselves and in these, because it comes back in stages and goes around, we are currently doing the Media Think YouTube 7-day challenge. And hence, so we understand about affiliate links and stuff, but that's not for us until down the line. But there's no reason why we can't put the links in the bottom to make it easier for you. So we've done that already, which we just started for the first time on here. We do put links on some of the other ones, but it's not been consistent. But we're going to attempt to be consistent. So in the information box below, there's a link to Amazon UK and Amazon US if you want to buy this journal and you don't want to do the whole malarkey. We're not affiliated, as I said, or anything. That would be in future. And also in future, when we learn to edit and do all the other stuff properly, we will, as it's talking about each section there, we'll, for instance, put up a double spread page and put up a single spread page so you can see what the outlook of the book looks like and everything. But this is a progress in time that's happening. So us at the moment, for instance, it's out loud reading, developing our language, and it's just us learning and growing up. And so it's us making the most out of each moment and still being able to share and heal and all kinds of things at once, really. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you and to us when we watch it back again. Books, the proud contents of your arcane library. Online resources, both a great place for the most inspiring people you follow and a place to record any daily tarot challenges you are active in. The Tarot Circle. The Tarot Circle are those around you who are there to help you along your journey with the tarot. These might be your close-knit tarot friends, the inner circle, or professional readers and guides in related fields such as astrology, your outer circle. There are contact sections for all of these fellow enthusiasts. There is also a section to help arrange meetups of your inner circle. The ethos behind the Tarot Circle is key to how to make the most of the Modern Witch Tarot Journal, with the summary of your precious tarot knowledge, plus recommendations for decks, books, and favourite spreads in one space. Sharing with the tarot community and capturing advice in return becomes much easier. Whilst part of learning the tarot is inevitably a hermit pursuit, it is only through the spirit of the Three of Cups that true growth is achieved. I hope your travels on the tarot path are bountiful and that many new friendships arise along its way. I also hope that this journal makes that journey easier and ever more enjoyable. Blessed be. So, for instance, because, yeah, we've got a scanner, so there's no reason why we can't scan it into the computer and then put a thing up there. We just have to figure out then how to do it. I thought I saw an outer circle page there. Yeah, so you've got like the outer circle that I was just talking about there. Name, phone number, email address. It's kind of like a little phone book, but specific to the tarot. The experiment section. It's got a few questions here. Where is my creative potential best made manifest? How can the mystery in my life be unveiled? What needs nurture and nourishment now? What in your life needs structure? And it's got 31 of those questions. That's the Modern Witch Daily Challenge. So that could be something that's done each month. Now, it doesn't have months on it or dates on these, so even though it's one for each week, it means then it doesn't look like it's set out to be for a specific year. So you can start it and it could be, you know, one that you do weekly, but you might miss a few weeks, but you haven't had to miss a few pages because the date's already written in there. That's the wish list page of recommended, owned, pre-order wish list. So once you've got it written down, you can then say whether you've ordered it or not. Title source meanings, blank page. So this one's an example. Title, Rose of the Winds. Source, Modern Witch Tarot Journal. Meanings, Boreas, source of your strength. Cassius, source of your protection. So that's kind of a pre-done example. Then there's like a section for double spreads. Your keywords, 4 keywords and reflections. And then your own personal interpretations of the cards where you can put in the keywords, correspondences, reflections, and reversals. So we haven't got too much here, actually. So there's a picture just after what we read. There's a nice picture there. And then there's another little bit of writing before it goes on to doing the cards, the Fool and the Witch. So we're just going to read this bit as well, because then there's no more to read. Card meanings. 78 cards probably makes it feel like there are a lot of symbolically loaded images to get behind. But take a breath and prepare to face these magical icons head on. The card meanings section of the Modern Witch Tarot Journal is a place to keep track of all those inspiring thoughts you have gained through your tarot readings, book research, and general pondering. It's a space to distill just what the card means to you. There's a giddy thrill to uncovering a new angle and wondering if anyone's ever seen that before. Yes, they probably have, but that doesn't take away from the fact that discovering that through your own practice is way more valuable than rote learning something from a book. It's the difference between actually understanding and simply knowing. And when you piece together all these patchwork thoughts in one place, you will have created something wonderful and unique. This is as true for experienced tarot readers as for those just entering the world. One of the absolute joys of studying the tarot is that this is a path that never truly ends. So, how can you approach reflecting on the cards? Here's a suggested method. Whilst looking at each card, try to look at both the overall impression, but also drill down into the details. Why does that particular animal, that colour, that symbol appear? Don't feel bad if you need to look things up. We all stand on the shoulders of giants in the tarot world. But equally, if that aspect feels at odds with how you interact with the cards presently, then put it aside for now. There's a logic to approaching these in numerical order. But equally, if there's one you keep drawing in readings or maybe just have hanging in your thoughts, then now is the perfect time to sit with that card. A classical way to approach the major arcana is to lay them out, Magician to Chariot, in one row, Strength or Justice, depending whichever is the 8th card in your deck, to Temperance in the next, and the Devil to the World in the last, with the Fool to one side. Now, see which cards sit either side of each, but also above and below. Does one card strangely reflect another? Are certain symbols repeated? Do each of these 7 card lines seem to work at different levels? So that's what it's meaning in picture form. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21. And then there's the Fool up there, because it's the Fool going on the journey through each of these energies. Let's take a look at an example. The Chariot above Temperance, above the World. Each of the cards appear at the end of their lines, perhaps suggesting the completion of the 3 paths, but in different ways. If we think about the Fool's journey and consider that it starts on the material world, moves into an inner journey before finally addressing spiritual growth, how are the ends of each of these paths different, and how are they the same? This journal gives a bit of structure to hang those thoughts on. Here's a quick look at that. Keywords. These are one-word ideas that really sum up the card. Very handy when glancing at the journal for a quick reminder. Reflections. A space for those deeper thoughts. You might want to reference a notebook to take these further. Correspondences. How different systems work with the tarot. For example, astrology or the elements. This can bring more depth to the cards, plus provide a good way to help recall their meaning. Reversals. Not everyone is a fan of using reversals, maybe choosing to ignore them in a reading. Plus, it's one more complication to worry about when you are starting out in the tarot. But thinking about how the card could work from a different perspective could really nail your understanding of the card. There are many ways you might consider reversals, an amplification or dampening of the card's energy, areas that require work or are challenging or receding influences. Turn the card and see what inspiration comes to you. Following the major arcana are the minors. After looking at the cards individually, you could try looking at the order of a whole suit or comparing all of those with the same number. Numbers we like. Yeah, you do, don't you? What themes get repeated in each of these? You will notice greater space has been given in the journal to the majors than the minors. Whilst the minors are still packed with symbolism, there is definitely a bit more depth to the majors, and they will probably take more of your time to unravel. Tarot readings are usually more than a single card, and in those circumstances, the interrelationships between the cards can be just as critical as the individual cards themselves. So, this journal also provides space for 2-card contemplations. Record here those flashes of inspiration that occur when connecting cards. Your intuition and the surrounding cards may lead to a different response the next time you see them, but that doesn't make your insight any less valuable. So, yeah. And then it starts off on the Fool. So yeah, as we get better and progress, we might even manage it tomorrow, because we were just thinking then the ideas that go around our head. It's got more information in the back, so we'll come back and do another reading of the information, the writing in the back, so there could be a follow-on video to this with that. But we'll probably, maybe, because the ideas come in, but whether it's actually flows that way is never the same. But we are attempting to put a package together of the fun tools to go with the shadow dance with life. That's our terminology that we use for something that most people call the dark night of the soul. And we were watching someone, Cindy from Awakening to Spirit channel. She's great. She will leave a link, if we remember, for her down there as well. She was saying how it's not the dark night of the soul, because the soul's pure, the soul's the essence, the soul is the deeper self, the inner self, the authentic self without the mask. What are we talking about? That's it, the dark night of the soul. So she said how she heard someone say the dark night of the ego, which is a lot better, but we still don't like that because it's still got so much negative connotation to it. So it's a journey to the innards, to one's innards, to one's heart. And the way that we've currently, that I've understood that society and people portray it is this dark, horrendous, horrible journey. It can be pretty horrendous and scary and everything at times, especially with what we've been through, as everyone goes through their own. And our alternate personality started this in the psych ward almost a year ago, this time last year. And so the story is kind of unfolding to us as it is the viewers, as we watch it back as well. So we've produced a package to heal us. That could be a package for others as well, and that will progress and develop as time goes on. And so, yeah, we'll read not the cards, but we'll read the guidebook from the cards so that we can read through that and just very quickly go through the cards, maybe do another reading. So that'll be another short video. And then we've got the actual book that goes into the depths of the cards bigger. So we'll read that as well. And then there'll be a package of the cards, the book with the definitions in it, and the journal, and that'll be one package. And we have similar packages, for instance, with a 52-week chakra personal journey going in with chakra cards. And then we have another subtle energy body book, but we've also got the subtle energy colouring in book. So as we work through these ourselves, starting off with the reading to catalyse us to then go on to the next stage, we'll then colour in, because colouring in is really good meditation. It's really good for learning. We've got a colouring in anatomy and physiology workbook there as well. But what we do before we colour in the pictures is we can scan it, so we've got the PDF, and then we can produce the PDF for you, so you can print it off. And then we've also got the PDF for us to then, other ones of us that want to colour in future and do it again and again. So yeah, we're providing the tools, the fun tools that we are using for our shadow dance with life, commonly known as the dark night of the ego or the dark night of the soul. And this is our journey of involution to co-consciousness. So if you're joining us and then finding any of this helpful, then wonderful, and please feel free to like and subscribe and share if you have found it beneficial. And any feedback, constructive feedback in the comments is most welcome as well. Namaste, Zanoni Snowflake, Purcell. Welcome to our Shinto yoga experience. Much love from our heart to yours. Take care.